Hello, Guardsman. I wasn't selected by the Emperor. However, as all Guardsmen should, I'm going to do my best in his holy name despite the situation. As a show of loyalty to the Emperor, I'm going to give you the best rundown on the veterans' guns that the Emperor's ever seen. Let's get into it then, shall we, fellow Guardsmen? Starting off, all weapons that have variants have 3. These are easily identified by the color of the gun itself: blue, green, and tan. The blue weapons always have faster fire rates and less damage. The greens are always balanced between, and the tans are the slowest but hardest hitting. I will be showing you all 3 variants, after which I will show a unique weapon without variants. As we do, keep in mind that the rating of a weapon does control how much damage it does, with higher ratings sporting higher overall damage.
I am a man. They're tearing me apart!
Bastion 220 combat!
Starting with a light Kantrael, identified by the short stature and navy blue color. This has a faster fire rate at the expense of damage. For damage per shot, it's rather weak, but has a strong point on hitting headshots. Like most lasguns, it penetrates 1 target per shot. Couple that with its fire rate, it is good for clearing chaff. Here's the damage and volley fire.
Precision fire underway!
Here's its max fire rate with Mauler for damage scale. Finally, it does not penetrate carapace armor. Use it for killing singled out specials and clearing hordes. With your ammo pool of over 1,000, I would recommend using it all times up until an enemy gets close. Next is the medium Kantrael, identified by its green color and full handguard. Damage-wise, it is decent. However, as the weapon has a low rating, the damage is much weaker than it should be. Like most, it penetrates 1 target per shot. Here is volley fire damage compared to default damage.
Bastion 220 combat stunts!
Here is the max fire rate that the rifle has. And no, it does not penetrate carapace. Use it as your multi-tool. Although it did not have good damage in this showcase, it does well when used in the right difficulty or rating. Focus troopers and gunners, but don't be afraid to use it for buttering up a horde. The heavy Kantrael, identified by its segmented handguard and tan color. Damage-wise, it is one of the best for killing troopers and specials. I would recommend aiming for the head to get the most out of it though. As usual, it only penetrates 1 chaff. With its fire rate, I would not recommend using it on hordes. Here is its default damage compared to its volley fire damage. It does not penetrate carapace. As a bonus, here is its damage on specials, and you can see why it's my personal favorite. Use it solely on specials and troopers, no matter the range. Let your teammates focus on the melee enemies while you clear the ranged. This weapon is best paired with a power sword. Although named an Accatran pistol, it looks exactly like a cut-down Kantrael. There are no variants for this weapon, sadly. The damage of this Laspistol is decent, with its headshot damage being just barely under kill range. As always, it penetrates one chaff. Here's the damage comparison for volley fire. The main appeal of this weapon, however, is its mobility. There is no slowdown while firing, and with long dodge distances you can avoid a lot of damage in a brawl. Use this if you like to get into the thick of it, or you're a zealot. You're able to take this weapon out quickly in the middle of a brawl to focus down a trouble enemy behind the horde you're killing, or always be on your toes in response to a mutant or other danger coming your way. On to shouldered autoguns. First up is the light autogun, as you can tell by the navy blue color and short stature, sacrificing damage for fire rate. Rather weak on damage, you will need to focus headshots for single troopers. Unlike many other guns, it only hits one target. However, the fire rate could make it worth using against a horde. Here's the usual damage comparison. Max fire rate with Mauler for scale. Yeah. And no, it does not penetrate carapace. Use this weapon against hordes, I think. That's all I got on this one. The medium autogun. Green and full handguard. You get the deal now. Packing more punch than the light autogun, it still does weak damage. Focus headshots with this one, however, and it's decent. It does penetrate one chaff, making it better for horde killing. Here's the fire rate with Mauler for scale. Here's the damage comparison with volley fire. And no, it does not penetrate carapace. Use this one over the light autogun if you want to. However, I would recommend against it as you have better options for both ammo and damage. The heavy autogun, colored tan. Decent damage on body shots, however it's better for headshots like the rest of them. It still only penetrates one target. Here's the damage compared with volley fire. Here's its full auto with Mauler for scale. No carapace penetration. Much better for clearing flak armored troops with headshots than the others, but still underpowered. The AUTOPISTOL. Only one of its kind with no variants. Damage-wise, it is very weak. It does penetrate one chaff. Here's the damage comparison with volley fire. Here's its max fire rate with Mauler for scale. Does not penetrate carapace. I have no recommendations on where to use this. You will have to find your own way, Guardsman.
AK-47s for everyone!
Now for the braced autoguns. Starting with light as usual, denoted by its navy blue and short barrel. Its damage is surprisingly good, not needing to focus headshots. For hordes, it penetrates one chaff. This makes it dangerous for the hordes of Nurgle given its full fire rate. Here's the fire rate for scale with a Mauler. Here's the damage comparison. No, it does not penetrate carapace, sadly. Use this for hordes and mowing down a close special. Be careful if those specials get too close and be ready to switch away to your melee if needed. Better to lose damage than lose health. The medium braced autogun. Sporting a green color and full handguard. Has very good damage per shot. Can penetrate chaff. Damage comparison with volley fire. Full auto with Mauler for scale. No carapace. I would recommend using this in the same situations as the light autogun. The only difference being the amount of ammo expended will be less and much more controllable accuracy, longer range. The heavy braced autogun. Tan in color with an extended barrel. Does more damage than its counterparts at the expense of less fire rate. Surprisingly, penetrates 2 targets before stopping, making it good for hordes. Damage comparison of volley fire.
Bastion 220 engaged.
This rifle I have has high stopping power, which makes it so I can knock down maulers. Sadly, no carapace penetration. Oh, and the bash doesn't do much for these. These 3 braced autoguns are up to personal preference on ammo usage and damage per shot.
Shotgun!
Sadly, unique and by itself with no variants. Damage is great for single targets with a tight spread. Aiming down sights changes the buckshot to a single high damage, high range slug. The special loads a duckbill shot, spread out in a horizontal line, easily killing the front lines of hordes. Here's the damage comparison of both buck and slug.
Bastion 220 combat stunts.
Here's its full fire rate, both aimed and hip-fired. Sadly, but expected, no penetration. Remember to use the special buckshot for hordes and melee troopers, while aiming slugs for specials' heads. Now going into the Accatran Lasguns. They all are fully automatic lasguns. Clicking hipfire shoots a very fast burst, or full auto, while aiming is single shot or full auto. Starting with the light Accatran, blue and short as always. Damage is surprisingly good on its 3-shot burst. Penetrates 1 chaff.
Ready and kill shot.
Full auto with Mauler for scale. It's like the Imperium's piss gun. It does nothing for carapace. Treat it like the light braced autogun. Focus hordes and close specials, but be careful risking close fights with your gun out. Can do further range if needed. Medium Accatran. Green and larger than usual. Damage is good. Penetrates 1 chaff per las. Damage with volley and without.
Readying kill shot.
Full auto for scale on Mauler. Does not penetrate. Good for anything but Ogrins. Hordes, troopers, and elites is its specialty. Heavy Accatran Las. Tan and larger than the others, also with a cool dual-headed eagle. More damage, less fire rate than usual. Damage per burst is very impressive. Penetrates 3 per shot, making it very good for horde suppression. Also one of the only guns that can penetrate infested enemies. Damage for scale with volley fire. Max fire rate of the weapon. Does not penetrate carapace. Used for anything and everything. You cannot go wrong with this lasgun. The Revolver. Unique all by itself without variants. Very good damage per shot. Unlimited penetration for chaff as I know. Damage for comparison on Mauler.
Engaging priority target.
I usually find the pushback an issue rather than a bonus, as it makes follow-up shots harder to make. Deals decent damage against carapace. Bash is mostly useless, 2-strike combo. Good for troopers and pushing specials back or killing them outright. Just be wary of that push messing up your follow-up.
I'm positive he did.
Now for Headhunter Autoguns. Light Headhunter having the blue color of all lights and with a wire stock. Three-shot burst has good damage with impressive aimed zoom. Penetration is only 1 chaff. Volley fire damage.
Eliminating alpha target.
Max full auto. Does not penetrate carapace. Used for troopers only, I would not recommend otherwise. Medium Headhunter Autogun. Two-shot burst with decent damage. Penetrates 1 chaff. Volley fire damage.
Kill shot drills engaged.
Does not penetrate carapace. Focus troopers' headshots more than anything else. Can hurt a horde in a pinch. Heavy Headhunter Autogun. Has a high damage single shot, impressive headshot damage. Only penetrates 1 chaff. Volley fire damage.
Engaging.
Max fire rate. Does not penetrate carapace. Focus your fire on headshotting troopers and specials. Do not use it on anything else as it's weak otherwise. Now the Bolter, one of Darktide's most favored weapons. The Bolter has high single-shot damage when aimed. It penetrates the first armored enemy and detonates when hitting the second. Penetrates 2 chaff and detonates on the third, dealing weak damage but scattering hordes. On hardier targets, the round immediately bursts. Here's volley damage. Here's the max full auto speed and damage. Deals good damage to carapace armored enemies. If it does not kill, it at least knocks them down, allowing for finishing blows. It's very effective against specials, killing most in one shot. Use this on anything and everything, with a preference for harder targets and troopers. Use volley fire and mag dump on Ogrins, and use controlled bursts on hordes to soften them up. Now for the Krieg Lasgun, the Lucius, starting with a light variant, the blue-colored one. Damage without charge is decent to weak. With charge, the damage is great, with the light Lasgun having a fast charge time. You will notice the click at full charge and the red glow. You will also notice the terrible aimed sights. Penetrates none on no charge. Only penetrates 1 at full charge. The special on these Lasguns is pretty useless, even in a pinch. Damage comparison charged and uncharged. Good damage to carapace armor in charged shots. Be mindful of how much ammo you use for this one. You can find yourself out of ammo rather quickly. Medium Lucius Lasgun. Decent uncharged damage, but great charged damage. Does not penetrate chaff uncharged, but penetrates 1 on full charge. Here's the damage with volley fire and without. Decent enough damage on carapace. Much like the earlier Lasgun, beware of how much ammo you use on charged shots. The heavy Lucius Lasgun. Longer charge for much more damage and pushback. Same as before, no pen uncharged and penetration charged. Damage comparison uncharged and charged. Amazing carapace damage on full charge, and possibly much more damage and utility than the next weapon in this showcase. The Plasma Gun. All shots have a charged delay. Hipfires are fast and penetrate multiple targets, armor or not. Penetrates 3 chaff on hipfire, 5 or more on full charge, and 3 hardy targets on full charge. Although having a large amount of damage, it feels weak and the need to balance ammo, heat, and a very long reload. Although having a large amount of damage, it feels weak with the need to balance ammo, heat, and a very, very long reload. Surprisingly, both weak and powerful to carapace enemies. Mostly not worth the heat and ammo expended. A good trick is to do 1 charge shot, followed by hipfire shots until dead to keep heat low. Cool off is weird, changing from fast cooling to slow cooling, taking an overly long time to entirely cool off. Charge shots also have a pretty weak AoE. Hipfire lets you vent 20% of the heat in return for around 3 health points, while overheating on charge shot means plasma detonation. It has a very large AoE and very large amount of damage.